I'm starting to curate my closet for pieces that I enjoy wearing and are timeless to me and my personal style, I felt like a comfy but feminine and dressy type of top is something I wanted to add to my wardrobe. I've been very much inspired by brands such as Cezanne and Doen, as I feel like they encompass that effortless feminine countryside style I've always loved. And that is the main inspiration for today's sewing project. The soft and structureless fabric I have chosen will contrast perfectly with the delicate details I'm adding to this design, making it easy to wear on the day-to-day but also dress it up if I want to. So let's get started on making this puff sleeve knit top. First, we are making the bodice. I'm altering a basic bodice block, but you can also use an existing top from your closet to create this pattern. If you are using a top you already own, fold it in half and trace the outline of the bodice on a piece of paper. From there, you can make any adjustments such as altering the neckline, shoulder area, and armholes. I'm lowering the neckline to create a scoop neckline and then bringing in the shoulders and elongating the armholes to accentuate the richness of the sleeve. For reference, here's an example of how I altered my bodice block for this pattern. Since I want this top to have functioning buttons on the front like a cardigan, I am placing the front bodice pattern an inch away from the edge of the fabric. This will make a half-inch button plaqué on each side of the bodice fronts. Unfortunately, later on in the video, you will see that I was not able to add this detail due to my fabric being too thin, but if you are using a fabric that can withhold buttonholes, then this is an extra step you should keep in mind before cutting your fabric. After cutting the front bodice pieces from the fabric, I folded the half-inch button plaqué and pressed it with my iron. Then I secured it with a straight stitch, enclosing the raw hems inside the seam. For the sleeves, I wanted to do a puff sleeve with a longer cuff. After taking down the measurements of my arm, I divided the width in half since I will be placing my pattern on the fold of the fabric. I marked the length of the sleeve at 22 inches and then removed 4 inches off the bottom to make room for the cuff. I extended the top of the pattern by 2.5 inches. I then multiplied the width of the sleeve by 1.5. The extra fabric will later help create the shape of the puff sleeve when we add in the ruching. For the cuff, I calculated it to be about 4 inches from my wrist lengthwise and then halved the width to create a snug cuff that will fit perfectly around my wrist. To create a more sturdy cuff, I ended up doubling the length to fold the cuff in half before I attached it to the rest of the sleeve, which should then make the pattern look something like this. After cutting out the pattern pieces from the fabric, I sew one row of gathering stitches onto the top and bottom of the sleeves. I then pull on the ends of the thread until they are approximately the same size as the armhole and cuff circumference. Now all the main pieces for our top have been completed. Before sewing all the pieces together, it's time to add all the details. To conceal the raw hem around the neckline, I'm cutting strips of scrap fabric to create a bias binding. According to my research, the binding for knit fabric should be a little shorter than your actual neckline. The reason is we need for the binding to sit perfectly around the circumference of the neckline curve and the shoulder curves. Once the bias is sewn onto the neckline, I'm adding the scalloped broderie anglaise trim. I love when clothes have little details like these. It somehow makes them feel like you're wearing something very special and unique. So here is how the top is looking so far. There have been some unexpected changes, so I wasn't able to sew on the buttonholes because this fabric is too thin and too delicate for something like that. So instead I just sewed on 2 straight lines in the middle to join the 2 fronts together and to replicate the look of a cardigan. So now the next step is to just sew the buttons in the middle and hem the bottom, and then it's all done. Absolutely love how this top came out. It was definitely a challenge for me working with knit fabric for the first time and also creating these types of sleeves. I've never made a puff sleeve with a cuff like this before, so I'm really happy with the result. It's definitely something I am looking forward to styling with a bunch of pieces in my wardrobe. If you do make a top like this one, I would love to see it, so tag me on Modern Prairie on Instagram when you post your photo. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!